So what I did is something called the Express Entry, Canada Express Entry. It's a federal skilled worker process. So what this means is that Canada needs people with work experience to come work in their country. Okay, but before you get this, it's a point-based system. So there are certain points you need to get for certain categories before you get this. So let me explain what I mean by that. So there is always a cutoff. The total points is 1,500 and the cutoff varies. I think right now the cutoff is 446. So what are the points that get you this cutoff? There's points for your age, years of work experience, if you have a sibling here in Canada, if you have French, because it's a bilingual country, so if you can speak French and you have proof of a French language test, your score there. There are points for what you get in your English test. So I'm going to come back and explain what some of these things are. Maybe not in this video, maybe in this video. Okay, but let's just go with it. So first thing you need to know is that it varies. So sometimes you hear, oh, this person started the process and in less than 3 months they got it. But I've been at it for a year. It all depends on your points. So imagine someone who has a sibling in Canada who can speak French, level of education too, who has a master's degree, and has all these things working for them. Of course, the person will get it much faster, than someone who probably doesn't yet have a master's degree, has nobody in Canada, okay? But this doesn't mean you can't get it, it just means you might have to wait longer. So from my experience, I have a master's degree, so I was able to get some points for that. So let me tell you how it works basically. I like to categorize the process into 3 phases, okay? So there is the pre-application, the application, and post-application. So the pre-application is pretty much everything you need to get on your own before you apply for the Canada Skilled Worker Program. So when I say things you need to get on your own, you could just go right there to the website and apply for it, but there are requirements they would ask for that you don't have already. So the pre-application entails going to get all those things. So 2 basic things you need to get if you're a Nigerian who did not have his or her first degree in Canada is you need to have your result evaluated. So when I say your result evaluated, they do not necessarily recognize our degree, but there are bodies who can go through our transcripts, and say, oh, this is the Canadian equivalent of a bachelor's degree, or this is a Canadian equivalent of a master's degree. So, those bodies, you need to evaluate your result through them. So what I would advise you to do is, since I can't tell you everything about this, a lot of research is necessary in this process. You might just want to take down a paper and a pen and just note down these things so you can do your own research. Okay, so the 2 bodies popularly known for evaluating your transcripts are WES, W-E-S, I think that's the World Education System, and ICAS. ICAS is spelled I-Q-A-S. So those are the first things you need to do. And second thing is to write the British Council English Test, IELTS. So it has different modules, but the one you're doing because you're looking to relocate as a skilled worker is general training. For people going to school, they probably do the academics for IELTS academics. So it's available in Lagos, in Abuja, I think in Ogun State now. So just Google, find out when the nearest date is, so you can plan. Or even if it's not the nearest date, you might want to study more, so you can choose a date that is a bit further. Then something very important, like I said, I'm speaking from my experience. So I had gone through the things I needed to go through to find out if I was eligible to apply, and it turned out I was eligible to apply for the Canadian Federal Skilled Worker. Not everyone is eligible. For instance, I think people who are 40 and above might not be able to come through that same system, okay? But there are other ways. So you might want to also write these things down and do your research. And if need be, you might actually have to employ the services of a legal consultant, who would help you through the process. Okay, so let's go back to the pre-application process. So what you need to do is write your British Council IELTS test, the general training module, and get your result evaluated. Okay, so these are the things you're going to need while applying, no, not even while applying, before you even get a chance to apply. These are the things you're going to need. Okay, so for the IELTS, I've mentioned, you can just you could Google it, British Council IELTS General Training dates in Lagos. You could even Google sample questions so you can see what you're dealing with before you actually write the test. So when you have these two, the WES and ICAS process takes approximately a month to 2 months. So when you have these two, you are now ready to enter something called the pool. So what the pool is just imagine a giant classroom where they put everyone who's applying for this process. By entering the pool, you're going to fill this really long form where they get every detail about your life, which would include the certificate number from that your result evaluation, that West thing I talked about, and also the certificate number from your IELTS. So this is why it's necessary to have those things before you apply. So everyone is placed in this giant classroom, and about 3 times a month there's a cutoff. So imagine someone coming to a classroom and saying, oh, everybody that scored 446 and above, Canada has said you can now apply. Then they send you something called an ITA, an invitation to apply. That is when your application process starts. So when you are sent an ITA, you are given a comprehensive list based on what you filled when you were entering the pool. Okay, you're given a comprehensive list of everything you need to apply, which includes your passport photo page, previous visas if you have those, reference letters. So let's say while you were filling the express entry form to enter the pool, you feel you've worked in 3 places. They would send you you'd need reference letters from these 3 employers, to certify that you really worked in these places. Okay, medical test, police reports. The truth is, by the time you get the ITA, the invitation to apply, and they send you this list of things, there are things you can get. Okay, but the most important one is proof of funds. So the proof of funds is how much you need to prove to them you've had over time through your bank statement, to let them know that you are ready to relocate. When I did mine, it was I think $12,400 Canadian dollars. So it increases per number of family. So for a single person, it was $12,400. So you can also write this down and go and research to see what you or your family size might need. I also know that when people are applying, it's different applying as a single person. As a family, you and your spouse, somebody will have to be the principal applicant. So I think the principal applicant is always the person who has more points. So maybe your wife has a master's degree and you don't. Obviously she's going to have more points, so she can be the principal applicant. Okay, so this is what happens when you are sent an invitation to apply. You have 3 months to get all these things they ask for. So this is the application process. The minute you run around, get everything is all right there online. A dashboard is created for you right from when you enter the pool. So you're just uploading these things that they ask for with their upload buttons. And then when you're done, post-application is just to wait, quite honestly. Try and distract yourself with other things, because sometimes waiting might be a while. No one is asking you to resign from your job. Keep working, so after everything, if the Canadian government goes through your profile, they run background checks, go through everything they have asked you for, including the proof of funds. That's very important. Okay, later I'll talk about other ways people go about proof of funds, maybe in another video or as a sub of another video. Okay, so if they go through everything they've asked you to provide and they think it's okay, that's it. It's clear sailing from there. They just send you a request to send your passport to be stamped for a visa. But you need to note that this could take I like telling people between 3 months to a year, because some people had it really fast. Like I said, somebody might have more points than someone else, so obviously the person would be sent an invitation to apply earlier. Okay, so in a nutshell, that is what the express entry process for federal skilled workers, so that's people who work experience, is for. So what would be great is for you to go and research more about it. So people have peculiar cases. For some people, it might be, oh, you know what, I'm divorced, I have kids, but I'm not with my wife anymore. How do I go about this? Can I still do this? You might need to research a bit more. Maybe engage an immigration consultant, Canadian immigration consultant, to advise you on how to go about it. Or for some people, oh, I have just one degree, can I still go about? I don't know anyone there. That's actually the case with most people. Yes, you can still go about it, but what I would advise is that you research a bit more. There are lots of Nairaland forums, WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups, of other people who are in the process. So bouncing information off each other. You also have the privilege of getting information of people who have gone through the process. Like I'm still on many of these groups. So if someone should ask a question, I'm able to answer from my experience. Of course, I contribute. So for a lot of people, that's the alternative to immigration lawyers and consultants. But then again, you need to research to be sure of what exactly it is you need. Some people might genuinely need an immigration consultant, okay? And I'm going to recommend some to you. I don't know about their prices, but I go through their content and I know they are certified, and I know that oh yeah, these guys know what they are talking about. So there's InfoPlace Canada. She's on Instagram, so just go to InfoPlace Canada. You can slide into her DM and all of that, just begin a conversation. Okay, so that's one I know. I've been following her for a while and I think she's solid. She's right here in Canada. About the pricing, I know many of them might be pricey, but it really depends, so you might also want to find out, oh, what would this cost me? And you're able to see if it's something you can wing without a consultant, or if, it's something you can pay for. So another thing is, like I said, there's the provincial nomination program. So this is what happens when provinces, states in Canada are called provinces, when they decide, oh, you know what, we want more people to come and work in our province. So while the federal government is doing the federal skilled worker program, provinces might decide, oh, we want people to come and work with us, so let's just give them extra 600 points. So of course, if you have a provincial nomination from any province, it's clear sailing, because 600 points versus cutoff that is just like 446, you're already gone, But there are also rules to this. They also have their requirements, but you even have to already be in the pool to be entitled to many of these provinces nomination. Okay, so let me just wrap this video up by recapping everything I've said. I went through the federal skilled worker program, the express entry federal skilled worker program, and it's for people with work experience. I'd had about 5 years work experience in Nigeria, but it's a point-based system, so there are points for 1 year of experience, 2 years of experience, then 3 and above. Okay, so if you have that, you're probably eligible. And then you also have to find out if you are eligible. You can also Google that. The Canada website is CIC, so when you Google and the Canada immigration website and you see a lot of results, just be looking out for the ones that are CIC. That's the official Canada website, Canada immigration website. So you want to find out if you're eligible before you apply. So you need your if you find out you're eligible, first thing to do is to write your IELTS, get your results evaluated, and enter the pool. So there's also a link to enter the pool. From your research, you'll be able to find out these things. Okay, so yes, that is how it works. You're not coming here to marry anyone, and the beauty about it is once you get it, you're a permanent resident. You have the same rights as a citizen, apart from the fact that you can't vote. You have your free healthcare, you have everything citizens have, but you can't vote. And after a couple of years, you can become a citizen, okay? So I'll talk more about that, in my process. So I hope I've been able to help, but it's very key. You need to research. Don't compare yourself with other people. People are, they have different processes. I'm single, I have a master's, I have a different process. Someone who's married has a master's, different process, but it's all through that same program, through the same application process, okay?